Hello, everybody. I am just going to make sure that my stream is running. There we go. Okay. Hello, hello. It's just a little minute early. I wanted to make sure that my stream was going to run okay. So if you are out there, please do say hello. Tell me where you're from. Welcome to our stream today for Alta New on both Facebook and YouTube. Hey, Tania, good to see you. So glad you're out there. Hey, congratulations. If everybody knows, Tania, she is our latest Alta New educator. Go girl. I'm so glad that you finished all of your projects and you had a really great workshop this weekend. You're awesome. Fantastic. So glad to have you as a part of the team. And she's also a new designer for us. Yes, go Tania. Okay, so I'm seeing all sorts of people popping in over on Facebook. Hi, Sue, Anne, Sandra, Cece, all sorts of people. Okay, and so we are probably going to get some people over on YouTube as well. Hey, there we go. Cindy over on YouTube. So glad to see everybody joining me today. So this is my first live on the channels since the new year. So happy new year to everyone. I know I've been over on Instagram, but not everybody sees me over there. So I am so glad to be back with you this month. And we're going to work on some fun projects today. Don't forget to share today's broadcast, and you could be entered into our giveaway for a $15 gift voucher. And thank you for that. I believe I've got Catherine maybe out there with us today. So glad to have her with us. She's going to help out with all of our links and let you guys know where you can find all the products that I'm using today. So we're going to look at a mini delight. So the mini delight poppy came out on Friday. If you saw that over on Instagram, the hop I believe is still live through tomorrow. So if you stop by and leave some comments along the way, you'll be entered to win in that giveaway. So you'll want to take a look at that, all the great projects that we did using this new mini delight poppy stamp. It is the cutest. It's just this little teeny tiny mini stamp with die. So I'm going to split myself here. So here we go. So we're going to start with the mini delight. So here's a look at it. So you're going to get this beautiful poppy. It's very styled. I love it. And a leaf and a little inside piece. And then you're going to get two dies with that. So this comes as a set together, the mini delight poppy and the die set. It is a monthly subscription, or you can buy them one off. If you get the monthly subscription, you get a little bit of a discount, plus you're guaranteed to always get the mini delight. So that's always a great thing to do the subscription if it's something that you're interested in. And these minis pack a huge punch. You can do so much with them. You can mix and match them. Sometimes they have sentiment, sometimes they don't, but they make really awesome cards. So I'm going to pair this today with the Label Love stamp set. And I know a lot of you have a love-hate relationship with this one, but we're going to go forward with it. All right, so we're going to use those two. And I'm using my Obsidian Black, my Burnt Red, which is a new color. I love this color, it's my favorite. And Silver Lake. So you can see I've got like some different form factors going on here. Our large crisp die inks, and then also the mini crisp die inks. And these, you can get little labels to go around them now, which I think is fantastic. So that way, if you misplace the lid from the base and you have more than one open, you know what color this is, because sometimes it's hard to tell, right? Okay, so we've got all that out there. And so this is the card that I made for the hop. And with the light on it, sometimes it's hard to see, but it's got a really faint background with the poppies and then just a simple popped up poppy. Very, very cute. Okay, so let me go full on hands here. Hello. And let's have some fun with this. So I'm also going to share with you another product today, but we'll do that after we do this card. So we're kind of split up today, 50-50. All right, and if we have extra time, maybe we'll do some different designs with this, but I think you're going to be really excited about the other thing that I'm going to show you. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so I guess I could do that. All right, so I'm going to use the burnt red for the poppy, but I think first I'm going to stamp the background. And I'm going to do that just to make sure that my stamp is nice and clean. It doesn't have any red on it. I see some of you have it ordered. You're going to love it. It's really great. So one thing I'm going to definitely recommend is to use a stamp conditioning eraser. So if you're new to stamps or photopolymers, actually even red rubber stamps need to be conditioned a little bit. So when they come from the manufacturer, there's always a little bit of oil residue on them, which you want to get rid of. So normally when I get my stamps, I always start by wash them off with a damp towel. Okay. And then I use this conditioning eraser every single time I use it. So the first time I give it a little bit more of a clean, and sometimes I end up with the little eraser residue on it, which is fine. So I'm just going to go and clean this whole thing off with the eraser, and that's going to help really get those oils off. And then I'll clean it off with my towel again, just to get the little bits of eraser, right? But once I've done that the first time, I'm always using this again every time I use this stamp. And the second time, I just go over it gently. Because what I want to do, as it squeaks and squeaks and squeaks here, what I want to do is get a kind of dullness to the stamp, especially when you're working with a big solid stamp like this. So do you see how that kind of has a frosty look to it now? You see how my fingers are clear coming through the block, but here where the stamp is, they're frosty. That's what you want. That's the kind of surface that you want when you're using especially dye inks, because otherwise they will bubble up on your stamp. So, so when I do that, and then I go ahead and add my ink to it, it's not going to bubble up and bead up, I should say. All right, so I have a really nice even layer on here. It's not beading up. All right. And then I can just go ahead and stamp it. Now, I believe, oops, I do need, so I'm going to do some second generation stamping. I really wanted these to be super light. So I'm going to stamp off on my Post-it there, and then I'm going to stamp. All right, so I'm going to do that process like every time. Stamp off, and then stamp again. And that's going to give me a lighter look. Stamp off. And here I'm just going randomly all over the place. Can you see that? There, you can see that a little better with the shadow there. Okay, so I'm just stamping these all over. Super easy way to create a background. You can do this with just about any stamp that you like. It could be a line stamp. It could be a filled in one like this one. Now, I'm using my block, so I might end up with like spots that don't stamp perfectly, and that's okay. Just make sure that when you're doing something like this, that you're turning the stamp to get different directions going, and also that you're making sure to stamp off the page. If you stamp off the page, it gives it a more organic feel, as if you cut into a piece of pattern paper. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, so with my original one here, I'm going to show you a little variation on this. So with the original one here, you can see I did just the flower. Okay, so there's lots of white spaces in between. So I was looking at that today, and I thought, you know, I could do a little more. I could do something just a little different. So I'm going to take that little center piece, and I'm going to do the same thing with that and fill in some of these little spaces. Now, again, I am going to use my eraser here just to make sure that it's nice and foggy looking. And again, do some stamping off. And I want to make sure that some of these go off the edge. So, you know, maybe just a little peak right there. A little peak right there. Make sure that I'm turning my image or turning the paper, either way. There. And so that gives that just a little bit more interest in the in-between spaces. So if you wanted something with a little bit more going on, you could add in the little pieces from the center. All right, so let's see what those two look like separately. So there's the one, this is the one without, this is the one with the extra bits in there. And you can see it's just a little bit more filled in, but it looks really nice that way. Hello to everybody out there. I'm so glad you're all joining from all over the world. Hello from Toronto and Munich. Willkommen. And Amy, my friend from the Northeast. She's another Alta new gal. She's an educator and also doing lives with us now too. So glad to have her. Okay, so let's do some stamping of the image. And I'm going to pop that on there. And I'm going to also pop on the leaves. I need to do 2 leaves actually. So let's just do this because I want to run this through my mini blossom. So I'm going to pop, oops, guess what I didn't do, folks? This is another solid image. So definitely using the eraser is a good idea on that. Okay. So let's get a couple leaves in place. We're going to have to run this through the mini blossom twice. That's okay. All right. I could really just stamp this with a stamp pad. Okay, so this is burnt red, my new favorite color. All right. And we're going to see how gorgeous this turns out. First time. Okay, so this is what the conditioning eraser will do. Do you see how perfect that is? I mean, I don't need to restamp this, so I don't have to worry about getting thick lines or any kind of shadowing or anything. It is perfect. So one thing I will say too is that it does depend on how juicy your ink pads are. So make sure that not only are you using the stamp conditioner, but that you're keeping your ink pads fairly juicy. All right, and then I've got my little centerpiece here. And this is a good reason to use the Misty, because now I can get my head kind of over this and make sure it's in just the right place. All right, so that's going to fit right inside there. And yes, it is definitely more on the orange side, Anya. It is, yeah, definitely like a more of an orangey poppy color. It's called burnt red. So, you know, burnt orange, burnt red, kind of in that family, if you will. It's from the new Martian Terrain ink set. So it's nice to have that kind of orangey hue to it. All right, so there are my pieces that I need, and I need to trim this down if I'm going to run it through my mini blossom. Okay, I have all this space and I've run out of room. So did you guys get in some good crafting this weekend, I hope? What did you guys work on? Let me know. Did you have birthday cards you had to work on? Did you have thank you cards from the holidays that you're still trying to get out? Did you send thank you cards from the holidays? I still have a few that need to go out. All right, so I'm just going to tape this down for my mini blossom here. Oh, so we had some birthday cards that went out. Excellent. Yeah, birthdays. They come so quick in January. My brother's birthday is coming up real quick. So it's easy to let those like sneak up on you, right? Because you're thinking, oh, the holidays are over, I've got plenty of time, and poof, all of a sudden it's time to send out birthday cards for your January birthdays. All right, so there's 2. Joe watched the watercolor class from the Altenew Academy, which is awesome. I hope you enjoyed that class. Speaking of the Academy, thanks for the segue, Joe. There is a new Academy class coming out on January 21st. I am the instructor for it. I'm so excited. It is called Stencils Unleashed, and we'll be doing all sorts of fun stencil projects. It's billed as an advanced stencil class, but I'm teaching all of the techniques in such a way that you're going to do it step by step, so it makes it really easy to understand, and it will just add to your stencil knowledge base. How about that? You're really going to learn all sorts of really fun techniques, and you'll be successful at them. So, okay, so I've got my pieces here, and I did 2 leaves. So I want to arrange these guys so that they look kind of natural together. And I find that, you know, like something like so kind of works, right? So we'll do just a little bit of adhesive. Whoa, that adhesive was ready to go. Cool. Let's see, Carol said she loved the watercolor class. So that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Andre, you put in an order. Fantastic. What'd you order? What's the thing that you're most looking forward to? Okay, so I'm just kind of, did you see that? I had a little extra glue on here, so I put it on the back. And now I can just stick all 3 of these together. Maybe it wasn't enough glue. We'll find out. Yes, Joe, that is the class. I love all the projects. They are fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna pop this guy on here and add a little bit of foam adhesive to get that to pop up. Now, when I do my foam adhesive, if I can, I like to put it across where pieces are glued together. That helps make sure they stayed glued together. Just a little reinforcement. All right, so I can pop that on. All right. And then we need to get a label on here. So this is the Label Love stamp set. And I did celebrate for the other, or congrats. Let's do a bigger one for this one. Let's do You Were Awesome. And I like to use my Misty for this as well, because sometimes this one you do have to stamp more than once. All right. This is another really great candidate for the stamp conditioner. All right, because it is, the letters are not so deep. So you really want to make sure that you get a good impression, and maybe you get it the first time, right? Let's see. Oh, Andra is looking forward to the sentiments and the everything A set. Yes, Andrea, the all things A is fantastic. I really like that. Okay, so that's dry. Just go over this a little bit again with my eraser. Nice and foggy, good to go. All right, so Obsidian Black is the best with these. And I get them inked up really well. And there we go. Now listen, so if you're not familiar with this stamp set, you are going to get some kind of funky looks. So this M here is always kind of filled in a little bit. That's just the way it's supposed to be. This is supposed to mimic kind of like a Dymo label maker. And, you know, when you press into that plastic, it doesn't always render perfectly. So it's good to, it's just good to know that it's not supposed to look perfect. And see, I'm not even going to come back and redo this to get that little white spot here, because it's really just not worth it. and it just looks more authentic that way. So my other tip on this one is to make sure that you're stamping on a spongy-ish surface. So that's another reason to use the Misty, because you're going to have your piece of foam in here, whether you do the 2 layers like I do. So this is a thin layer of fun foam with a piece of silicone in here. So it's squishy. It needs to have just a little bit of give to get a better impression. If you're doing it on a hard surface, even like even this mat here, it's really hard. And when you stamp on it, you're not going to really get a great impression. There needs to be a little bit of cushion. So that is a couple of tips on this stamp set. I did a live on that where we talked about all sorts of tips for this particular stamp set a couple of months ago. I think it was over on Facebook. Oh, I missed a question. Oh, thanks, Amy. Yes, so about the stencil class. So it's open. The first class will start on the 21st, but it is like all pre-recorded. So I run you through the technique. So I'll do a technique video and then I'll do a project video for each day. And we have 6 days. So that's 6 projects, 6 unique techniques. And actually I have a bonus in there. So 7 techniques. And I'm using over 20 different stencils. So you're going to get lots of great ideas for all the different stencils that are out there with Altenew. And even though it starts on the 21st, that doesn't mean that you have to like start taking it on the 21st. That just means that that's when it opens for the month and actually opens forever. So the official first days of it, you know, the 21st through the 28th or whatever, that's when we have like the giveaways from people when they post their projects and galleries and things like that. And I'll be in there replying to your email or to your messages and things like that. And then after the 28th, you can enroll at any time. It's just that the interactive portion of it and the giveaway portion of it is no longer live. So you can take the class at any time though. That's the same with all Altenew Academy classes. You can take them at any time. They are always available for you. You can take them over and over. You can go back and reference them, which is super nice. And they're taught by some really great people. Okay, so I just put a little bit of that foam adhesive on the end here because it's going to stick off on the other side. All right, and then the rest of it's going to attach right to the poppy. So I'll just put a little bit of adhesive. I'm going to use my mat here to make sure, or to help make sure that I kind of keep this square. There. What do you guys think? I think it's fantastic. I know exactly who this is going to. Okay, here's the stamp conditioner, Fran. It is an eraser that's designed to help make your stamps receive ink better. Okay, so what you want to do is end up getting kind of a filmy, frosty look on your stamps, and that's going to help your dye inks stick to your stamps better and give you a better impression. Like, see this one stamp. That's all I needed to do. I didn't need to stamp it once, twice, 3 times, things like that. Okay, fantastic. Get one. Actually, it comes in a package of 3, so you'll have them like forever. Yeah, Liz, I really wanted to make sure with the class that I covered a lot of different stencils, so you have tons and tons and tons of ideas. So I wanted to give you guys a really good value. Okay, so that was the Mini Delight Poppy. All right, and this comes out on the 15th of every month. And you can make some really fun things. It's always an Instagram hop. So if you're not following Altenew on Instagram, you should go follow them and then you'll see the hop happen. It is still open right now for the giveaway. So you definitely want to check that out. Okay, so I need to kind of reset here, move a few things out of the way that I don't need anymore. Because we're going to do something fun and special. Did you guys get your Ulta new email today about today's special? I was floored about today's special. Okay. This is the excuse you've been looking for to get the Ulta New Artist watercolors. Okay. So the Ulta New Artist watercolors are artist grade. They are a fabulous set of colors. And if you get them today, you're going to get this 6x8 stamp set for free. Okay, this is the Floral Dahlia 6x8 stamp set. It is gorgeous. And it retails for like 23 something. And you're going to get it for free if you order these guys today. So I thought, hey, I needed to show you guys how awesome these watercolors are. So this is the project that I made with this stamp set, which doesn't use the watercolors, but I wanted to share it anyway. So I heat embossed this image a couple of times to fill up the whole page. And then I used some grapevine. It's just clear embossed. And then I used grapevine around the edges to make the gradient shading. And then just a little bit of white embossing on a strip of black. So lots of different things you can do with this. Today we are going to do some watercoloring. Yeah, Roberta, I was floored. So this stamp set, and look at how beautiful it is. All these gorgeous little dahlias and then some really great sentiments. Lots of great sentiments. Okay, so I've got out my big Misty, my original size Misty, because we're going to do a slimline size, and I pulled this out in case we need to swatch. I did also pull out a palette, and Catherine, I'm sorry, I forgot to put that on the list today. So the palettes, those are super nice to have, and we're using the watercolor paper pad, the 9x12. And this is the 100% cold pressed cotton. And I have it cut down to 8.5 by 3.5. So it's going to fit like right in my Misty. All right. And of course, I moved the one ink that I need. All right, so I'm going to use my Obsidian Black. And let's get some florals on this page. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I'm using my Obsidian Black. It is a watercolor friendly ink. And it stamps pretty decent on this watercolor paper. Now there's a lot of texture on cold press paper, so usually you have to stamp it twice. That's pretty good. And let's see, where else do I want to put this stamp? Do I want to do, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm thinking this is the bottom. I could do something like this. Yeah, let's do. All right, so notice no masking here. I'm just kind of making the flowers fit in between these leaves here. And that should be good enough. All right, so we'll have like a little bit of a cascade. Obsidian Black is not Copic friendly. It will bleed with your Copics. You want to use permanent black when you use your Copics or your Ulta New Artist markers. All right. That's why you need to have more than one black, because if you're going to dip into different techniques, you need to have the right blacks for that. All So right now it looks just a hair disjointed, but I think we'll be able to fill that in with some color, so it'll look okay. Actually, I probably could maybe fill in with a few of these leaves. So let's see about that. But we are done. Maybe not. I could put the sentiment on. That'll give this just an extra minute to dry. So let's pop a sentiment on here. How about... And while I'm at it, so there's all these little leaves in here. So if I pop in a couple, yeah, maybe like that. There's another little leaf down here. That's going to go off the edge. I think that's going to help. So I know I have this kind of turned funky. That's all right. This one needed just a little extra ink. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So yeah, just adding in this extra little leaf here and a little leaf down there, that kind of helped bring a little bit of that together. This is just a microfiber cloth, nothing special, gets super dirty, cleans up really well in the wash. Recyclable, you know, or I should say reusable, so I'm not like throwing away paper towels and things like that all the time. All right, so let's get to some coloring, shall we? All right, so all of these colors are labeled after the color family, not a specific color. So like Fiery Sunset, Warm and Cozy, Tea Party, Red Cosmos, Red Sunset. And don't think I'm a genius because I was able to rattle all those off. They're labeled on the insides, so you know what color family they go with. And then when you get them, they come individually wrapped. So I took the little labels that they come with and I cut them off and added them to the sides just so that I would always know what they are. All right, there's a lot of Altenew colors to remember, so sometimes it's kind of tough. Okay, so I've got some water here, and this is just water in a little dropper, so I can start dropping it into colors. Then I don't have to go around with a paintbrush or whatever. So I'm actually just going to put some water in all of these because I'm not really sure where we're going with this yet. I do not have any specific colorway planned. So if you want to see a specific color flower, now is the time to put out your request. We could do reds, we could do purples, we could do blues or oranges. Let me know because I need to grab a brush. All right. Okay, so let me rearrange just a hair here and I can bring us in a little closer. Actually, now that I have water in all of these, sometimes it's easier to work with this outside of the tray, especially when I'm doing videos. So I can do that. And I'm always like struggling with how to do this so you guys can see everything. But I do want to bring you in just a little closer. All right, there, that's better. Okay, so I have my palette, my water. All right, orange and yellows. Blues towards purples. Okay. So, fortunately, there are a couple of different flowers. And we can work on a couple different things here. Okay, that's better. So let's start with like some fiery sunset here. So this is a really vivid orange, and I'm going to mix some warm and cozy with it just to brighten that up a little. And I'm going to do a wet on dry technique. So instead of trying to flood it and then letting the water take it, I'm going to just go right onto my paper and start filling some of these in. Okay, so we want to do maybe reds into oranges. So let's do a little bit of Tea Party. And then even some red sunset. So those will be the three colors we use for that. So I'm using these rags all the time. So I have my rag off to the side here, and I'll be like dabbing my brush on it to get rid of excess water. All right, these inks blend so well together. They can be vibrant, they can be watery, they can be whatever you want them to be. So we'll do this one a little more vibrant, and then I'll water one down. And go from there. Lacey, we'll get to another set of colors. These brushes happen to be just regular water brushes, round brushes that I have. A lot of times I prefer to use these in a cup of water over a water brush because I'm changing colors so much that I'm just going to dip into water anyway. So they're just some blended brushes that I like from Amazon. All right, so maybe I want to make this leaf here just a little more orange, and then I want to fade into a lighter orange on the side here. I can do that. And so really I don't have like a rhyme or reason here, which is kind of cool because then I'm going to end up with all sorts of different looks. And so it's just going to look like this really cool variegated flower. Right. I would have to look at the specifics on the light fastness and everything. I do believe they have, because it's been a while since I looked at the markings on them. They do have like their pigment colors on them. I don't know about how light fast they are, but they're definitely not granulated. They, have different varying levels of staining, things like that. And I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know if the Altenew page for this talks about the light fastness. But they really are a great set of watercolors. For a pan set, for sure. All right. See, this is a great way to spend a Monday afternoon. Just doing a little bit of watercoloring. Having some fun with the new stamp set. all that good stuff. All right. All right, so look, got all sorts of fun variation going on there. Just looks really pretty. All right, so our reds are mixing well together. If I want to go for an even lighter color, we could add in some summer afternoon. Let's mix some of these together. Get some brighter petals in here. This could be like a fantasy garden, right? So it can be whatever you want it to be. That's what I love about art. It can be whatever you want it to be. If they don't exist in nature, it doesn't matter. If you like the way it looks, that's what matters. Okay, so let's say you didn't want to work each of these little individual sections. You can just work a whole petal at once. So I laid down some of that warm and cozy, or that maybe, yeah, the warm and cozy that I paired with that fiery sunset. And now I'm just going to draw it up to the edge here. And then I'll drop in some more of the darker color at the bottom here. And just kind of let the water take it away. Right, so you could do something much more simple like that. So one of the biggest mistakes I think people make when they are trying to watercolor stamped images is that they try to use too big of a brush. Do you see how small this brush is? This is a number 0 brush. It is teeny tiny. Now I probably could go a little bigger. I probably could use this number 1 brush, but I wouldn't really want to go much bigger than that because then I'm not going to be able to get in the nooks and crannies and I'm going to start going over the lines, right? So think about your brush size when you're doing a little project like this. I mean, it's a little project. All right, so let me switch to the number 1 brush here and show you the difference. So we might actually get through a little bit more faster. So now I can do a wet on wet technique. I filled it with water first. Come back in with my orange. So this is going to start spreading that around a little bit more quickly. So remember, with a larger brush, you're also going to have more water in the bristles, which means you're going to have less control over where the paint goes, because the water is going to spread. All right. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Cordelia, if you missed my announcement about the sale today, if you get these watercolors today, you will get this stamp set, which is a 6x8 stamp set, for free. So just depending on how you think about it, it's either a discount on the watercolors, or it is just a little bonus item that is going to help you get started with them, you know, however you want to think about that. Let's see, there was a good comment. Oh yes, the heat emboss process is really a lot of fun too. So if I were to have heat embossed this, then you can just kind of let the color drop into all the different spaces. And this would be a great stamp set for that, because look at all of these little areas would be separately heat embossed. So you could do like a wet on wet and drop in all of your colors. That would be really a lot of fun. Okay, so let's see for the center here. Well, let's mix some of these colors together because we're going to move on to another color. All right, so I really need my small brush now. right, so guys, this is a ton of watercoloring that I set up for myself here. I don't think we're going to get through it all. That's okay. That's another nice thing about a little watercolor project is that you can just do little bits at a time and set it aside and do some more later. Okay, so I really want to make this center fairly dramatic, so I'm going to drop into the jet black here. And just drop that in. Okay, so let's move on to a different color set. All right, we wanted to do purples and blues, purples and blues. So this is shades of purple and lapis lazuli, which is like really beautiful shaded blue. How about a little bit of deep blue seas? Start getting into some of the greens here. And this one I think is crystal water. And I'm actually even going to pull out a little bit of the cherry blossom because that's going to go really well with the shades of purple. Whoa. Okay, so I'm actually going to do this flower right next to this one and show you how these can work well together. So pop into the cherry blossom here. And then add a little bit of the purple. All right, so again, a little bit more of the purple at the top here. Start letting that blend out. Actually, this might just be a really pretty flower to do in the pinks and purples. Yeah, so that was just kind of an off-the-cuff kind of idea to just mix all the colors together. I figured, well, they're all going to work together, so it'll make a nice, interesting shade of something for the middle of the flower. All right, so for this one, I'm just taking that cherry blossom, which is a super, super shade of fuchsia pink, and adding a little bit of that shades of purple at the base and just letting that kind of blend out. I used obsidian black to stamp the image. It is a great ink to use for watercoloring. Yeah, Jane, it is my pleasure to be here with you guys today. I really do love to share the art of stamping and coloring and all the great things that go along with card making. Do you guys, so it is my first time back since the new year. Do you guys have any crafting goals for this year? Any techniques that you want to learn or classes you want to take? I mean, we talked about some Alta New Academy classes earlier. Any other classes on your list? Yeah, so doesn't this look just gorgeous together? So I've got like this really cool pink purple flower going along with this orange flower. We are going to do more of a purpley blue flower in a minute here. Oh, creating a scene. Yeah, you know, sometimes that is, that can be kind of difficult. It's good to learn a few principles on how to put a scene together. And then you want to make them all the time. All right, so there is yet another flower. Let's mix some of these together. So ooh, that's pretty. Kind of a deeper fuchsia. Oh, Roberta is working on her PhD. Her project's half done. All right, so there you go. 2 down, lots to go. Let's do this one down here in some blues and purples. Actually, I'll pull out this one. I think is, yeah, so Starry Night. So all sorts of blues, and let's get a little bit more of that purple, that shades of purple. Okay. So I'm going to mix the lapis lazuli and some of the shades of purple together. That's going to get us more of a blue purple. It's actually really nice. Ooh, I really like that. Okay. So I kind of really have no rhyme or reason going on here with like how I'm filling these in. Sometimes I'm doing wet on dry, sometimes I'm doing dry on dry. Or I mean, wet on wet, I should say. And, you know, it all works. Okay, so that was, I did the lapis lazuli. So just the straight up lapis. That needs just a little bit of water to thin it out and get that color moving. All right, and then I came back in with that mix. So this is shades of purple and lapis mixed together to make this really cool, kind of more blue purple to get us in a little bit more. And then I went right into here. This is Starry Night. And I keep putting my thumb in that. Just on the insides here. So now that I've got my little formula, I'm just going through and finishing up all the rest of these. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can do the watercoloring like I'm doing here. Actually, so once I have this formula, if I want to do all of these flowers, here's a shortcut. If you're going to do them all kind of the same way, we can just fill them all in. Right? All right, so I've got those all filled in. And then I can come back with the purple now and just drop in a little bit. The base of all of them, they've had a chance to dry just a hair. All right, and then so now I might need just a little bit of water to get that to move so I don't have a hard line. So lots of different ways you could approach something like this. And then come back in with my Starry Night and just add that little bit to the insides. Here we go. Okay, so let's do little centers here. This is what I like to call speed watercoloring. I feel like I'm racing against the clock. Of course, if you don't have a deadline pressing, you can just, you know, like if you don't have a deadline for like a birthday card to go out in the mail or whatever, take your time. All right, so there we go, and add in a little bit of our black in here. So now you can see where our beautiful multicolored flowers are going. Okay, let's do, it is 3:25 in the central of the United States here. So let's do some leaves. I think that's going to finish us up for today. I'll keep working on this. And if you are a member of the Altenew fan club Facebook group, I highly encourage it for you to be over there. We're always sharing projects and ideas and encouraging one another. It is definitely a safe place for you to post your projects and get feedback, ask questions. I will post my finished project up there. Okay, so I just pulled out 3 greens, and those greens are Seashore, Green Meadows, and Green Hills. And so we're going to do some leaves. Let's do some wet on wet. So I'm going to put water in here first. I'm only doing half of the leaf. And that's going to help the pigment flow. And that is super, super bright. So I'm going to add in some of that Green Meadows to help tone that down. And then even some of that Seashore, some of that bluey color at the tip there. Yep. All right, so that's wet on wet. And then if I wanted to do wet on dry, again, it's going to start a little more structured, but I'm going to add more water to it so it flows. And there we go. All right, so we've got another Green Hills. All right, so if you are just joining us, we are almost done for the day. If you share out in the next few minutes, you will be eligible for our $15 giveaway, our Altenew gift voucher giveaway. So if you haven't done that yet, do share this broadcast so everyone can see all the great things we're doing over here at Altenew. And Catherine has been putting out all of the products that we've been using. There's all sorts of comments going on too. Yeah, this is going to be some awesome happy mail for somebody for sure. And yeah. So what I'm using right now is the Floral Dahlia stamp set, and this is free with purchase of the Altenew Artist watercolor pan set. And the great thing about this, it is a full 6x8 stamp set. It is huge. It has some beautiful images in it. I stamped 2 of the same image to make this whole little progression here. All right, and we started off the day, if you go back and watch the replay, we started off with the Mini Delight, the latest Mini Delight, which came out on Friday. It's called Mini Delight Poppy, and it is absolutely delightful. All right. So I will tell you what, guys, I am by no means a watercolor expert. I haven't taken watercolor classes. I haven't, I have no professional training in doing watercoloring, but I enjoy doing it. I encourage you to get out your watercolor supplies, your artist markers supplies, your coloring supplies of any kind, and just explore, because that's the way that you're going to find out how your products work on your own and discover color combinations that you like, things that work together, things that don't. You know what I keep underneath my little thing here is a color wheel. So that way I know what colors are going to look good together. And it just kind of reminds me, I mean, I'm familiar with the color wheel, but sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I'm not quite sure. So I pull it out and I say, well, what's its exact complementary and things like this. So I'm always pulling out my color wheel. I keep it right underneath my little thing here. It's not cheating. It's just making sure that you have all the tools that you need to make something really fun and creative and gorgeous. And yeah, just go out and try using all the coloring stuff that you have today. Of course, the artist pan set is available today, and you will get this gorgeous Floral Dahlia stamp set. Let me zoom out a little so you can see the whole thing in the picture. There we go. That is just absolutely gorgeous. And you can get these guys together, and then you will be ready to go and create something totally awesome and fun. I hope you guys had a great time with me today. So don't forget about that special. Don't forget about the mini delight that is going on right now. So the Instagram hop is still live if you want to check that out for the giveaway. You just need to leave comments on a couple of the stops and you'll be entered into win the gift certificate for that. So much fun. So cute. I totally recommend the mini delights. They pack a lot of punch into a teeny tiny package. So I'm so glad you guys joined me today. I hope that you have a wonderfully crafty week. For those of you in the cold part of the world, stay warm. For those of you in the warm part of the world, stay cool. And I will be back soon with some more crafting fun. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy crafting.